have 10:01. We'll go ahead and get started. So thank you all so much for attending today's September monthly PRLU provider call. We do hope that this meeting will be beneficial to you. It will be, I'll try not to have a long meeting. I like to have short meetings, short and sweet, because I know that you have important things to do. We'll go ahead and get started. So again, just welcome everyone. Um, we do have on our side a new licensing specialist. Her name is Melinda Parkey. And Melinda, if you can wave at everybody. She is housed in the Washington County office. She will be focusing on foster homes, but she may respond to some residentials or PRTF should we ever need her assistance. But that'll be a while before we get to that point. Um, I also wanted to go ahead and thank everyone who participated in last month's uh, in-person provider meeting. So we thought that it was a good meeting. We appreciated that you all, traveled down to Little Rock or up to Little Rock to, provide any feedback that you felt was necessary. So thank you so much for that. Um, We'll go ahead and get started. We do have Cynthia Smith from our background check unit available. And Cynthia, so I'll just ask you first if there is any new background check information that the providers need to be made aware of.
At this time, there's nothing's changed. Everything stays the same. Just remember when you have an out of state that you send me the actual report that you have submitted it to the other state. That way I can get that logged so I know that you're aware that they need an out of state. But other than that, nothing's changed.
Okay. And yeah, I did need to let you all know that the meeting will be recorded through Teams. So just FYI, I'll try to upload this information once I figure out how to do that later on, but we'll try to make that available to you. Um, so today's topic of discussion is their home away from home. And so this is concerning the youth at your facilities. And so we just wanted to take some time to get some feedback from you all to see how you're handling these types of things. So, first topic is, so do your youth receive medical and dental follow-up? And if so, how do you manage that? Is it that um, they are required to have it prior to them making it to your facility? Or is it that they get it once they're there and then you also do the follow-up? Can anyone share how that works at your agencies?
Hi, this is Renessa Adams. Surprise, surprise. So at Piney Ridge, we do not require that they get their medical services prior to being admitted. They do have an H&P when they get here. They are put on the schedule for an eye appointment and dental, of course. We go through Medicaid, and so certain residents don't qualify. But if, for instance, a resident breaks their glasses, and even if Medicaid won't pay for another pair, Piney Ridge will pay for it. We have a transportation specialist that has this awesome spreadsheet of every resident, and on it has listed when they went to the dentist last, when they, if we know, at least we have the dates of after they get here and when they're due again. And he even has the spreadsheet related to, say, a resident does fracture their arm or something, for those. So that's how we do it at Piney. But again, if Medicaid won't pay for something, we'll make sure it gets done no matter what. And if a resident is discharged in the middle of some type of medical care, maybe they're working on braces, or maybe they have that fractured arm again at their discharge. They do meet with the nurses, and we do have what we call a written discharge plan, and it would indicate on there what type of follow-ups they have coming up.
Very good. Thank you so much, Vanessa. So for those agencies who have also private placement, and I know you may have this there too, Vanessa, are you all required for, so would the parent have to take care of that themselves, or would the agency need to do that for the child who needed any medical attention or need to have a follow-up dental appointment or just go see the eye doctor? So what is that engagement like with the parents if they're private placement? Do we have any PLPAs on?
We do. um, the parents sign a form that they are responsible for the medical care. However, getting them to pay for it is another issue, but we do pay for it if we can't get that from them.
Okay. Is there any are there any issues with engaging with any trouble with engaging with the parents when it comes to the needs of the youth that are placed at your facilities? Like, are they like hard to find, or is it like, yeah, sure, I'll take care of that immediately, or what has that situation been like?
Depends on the situation. We do take runaways from out of state, and those can be difficult. But other than that, if they're from our area, placed by our caseworkers, then we have no problem with that.
Okay. And I see Megan on. So Megan, is it a part of the DCFS staff, like, are they also responsible for ensuring that those children have all of their follow-up appointments, or is it left on the agency?
So it is good if we could work together to ensure that these appointments are made. Of course, if the facility cannot do it, then it does fall back on DCFS. However, if a child is placed in a resource home or a TFC home, then the hope is that the resource parents will take the child to
I'm
the
home.
appointment.
I'm home.
Okay. Hey, Charlotte, we hear you.
Okay. Okay, good morning. We couldn't get on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And I got on and the rest of them can't get on. We've been waiting for about 8 minutes.
Okay, let me, Abigail, can you check that box for me, see if anybody is waiting? I don't show anybody waiting in any of my rooms.
I don't show anybody waiting either.
Okay. Well, hopefully they can get on pretty soon. Um, I'm sorry about that, Megan, but thank you for sharing the information. Charlotte, we were just checking with agencies to see how they follow up on any medical or dental needs for any youth placed at their agencies. There was some discussion that the agencies will most likely end up taking care of that. For those who have private placements, they do reach out to those parents or they have them sign a form before they get there to say, hey, we need you to be responsible for the payment of the medical services for your child. And then I believe Megan was discussing that DCFS would like to work with the agencies on ensuring that those youth are getting their medical and dental needs met. So working together. Is there anything that you wanted to add to that?
Well, what we do, come on around here, Carla, because Carla's still in here because she couldn't get on. Cause they were asking the question, what are we coming to any problems with like the dental providers and us getting stuck with the bill?
No, well, yes and no. We initially had to set a cap with our the dental provider here that did the services for our residents because there were a lot of charges that we felt was unnecessary. But right now we're in the process of getting all of that straightened out. We have ran into some hiccup with that. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. It's kind of like in between trying to get it all sorted out. As a matter of fact, I just received an email from one of the providers here in Forest City, so we can try to get some information from her. But I'll keep
Okay.
you updated. Yeah, we've been running into some problems.
Okay. Okay, thank you for sharing. Miss
you're
Yvonne,
welcome.
did you need to say anything?
Well, am I on mute? No.
No, ma'am.
Okay. We asked that the service worker have, provide us with the most current physical, dental, and vision prior to admission. And because that will at least give us a baseline as to where the children are. But if we do not receive it, then our parents are responsible for ensuring that the child within 7 days get it scheduled or done. Usually not done within 7 days. The physical, we make sure they have an annual vision exam, and then the semi-annual dental. And then we just keep them on track as if we would our own children, our biological children. Make sure that those appointments are adhered to, and if there's follow-up appointments, make sure that they're kept, as well. If the child has cavities or anything, make sure that those appointments are kept. And we also a lot of times try to do a hearing exam as well.
Okay. So another question. So for those agencies who may have a high-risk youth or an aggressive youth, and maybe all of their wisdom teeth are in and they're in so much pain, like how would you handle that type of situation when you know like we're really gonna be taking a chance if we send this youth outside of the facility? Do you have anyone that comes on site or how would that work? Or do you just not address it at all?
So Piney Ridge addresses it.
Okay.
There's a couple of ways that we do it. Of course, we're larger, so we have a pretty big team. We've got the director of nursing, we've got APRNs. We have APRNs that come here typically 3 times a week, and if they need, if they're next door and we have a resident that has an issue, they will come again. We use our local urgent cares. If it's an injury, of course, we report it to licensing. Sometimes we take the residents to the ER. At our QRTP, there's been a couple circumstances where, because of safety, we had the residents go get assessed for acute by ambulance. So um, certainly we can't allow somebody to be in extreme pain. And so we've been creative to where we've had 3 or 4 residents take the staff member to the hospital.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Thank you for sharing that information. Did anybody else need to share? Okay. And a lot of these questions are coming from things that I see on like I'm watching the news. And so there are like issues like across the state or just across the nation in general. But I did want to talk to you all to see about the education part of, you
Hey,
know,
Ebony, can
yes,
I
ma'am.
interject something right quick? I
Yes,
do know
ma'am.
when I was working in Little Rock, Children's Hospital has a outreach dental van, and if you're in their area, they come out to your facility free, and they do everything dental wise for the kids. So if there's anybody in the Little Rock area, if you can get in touch with the Children's Hospital, they have a Children's Hospital outreach dental van, and they take care of all the dental needs of the kids on that van, and it's free.
Thank you for sharing that.
Amazing.
Yes, really appreciate it. Um, so the next thing we wanted to talk about is your youth and their motivation to learn. So we know that school is back in session, and so we want to know like how is that going? Do you find that you do have some youth who are really wanting to learn and excel, or is it that there are too many distractions from the other youth that are preventing that type of, learning environment with your youth? Or is it that all of the youth in that who are participating are really engaged and really want to learn when it comes to education? So we do know that some youth are on campus. They have classes on campus, and some are going off campus to the local community schools. Um, How how is that going for those youth? Like, are you getting a lot of reports from the school? Are they calling you every 5 minutes? Or even on campus, are there a lot of disruptions? Or have you found out, like, so far this year, school is going great?
Hey, Ebony, this is Charlotte again from Ford City. We actually have conscious discipline on campus today, yesterday and today. So they are shadowing the teachers in the school and the classrooms to see how our interactions are so that they can give us feedback as to what we need to do. And basically, our teachers rotate, the kids don't rotate, but the teachers rotate, and that's new for us this year, and it's a welcome relief so that the
Mhm.
teachers don't get with, hey, I had these students for 8 hours, or the kids, I'm tired of her, I want somebody else. And so it's working.
Yeah, I know they practice that over in some parts of Asia, and I was always interested in that, but I think that's a really good idea. Instead of having the youth like, running the facility, to stay in a classroom and your teachers rotate. So I always thought that was neat, but I hope that works out for you all. Um, yeah, would anybody else like to share? Like, how's the education going with your youth at your facilities or agencies or in the foster homes?
Hi, this is Edlin from Ursa TFC here in Northwest Arkansas.
Hmm.
So I just wanted to share that we have a little bit of everything. So we have some that are just trying to find ways to get out of school. Then we have some that are doing fairly well for a lot of changes and for New Year and everything going on in their lives too. But we also have one that's destroying the class and being aggressive. So I will say that having the therapeutic day treatment is helpful. That has helped with one of our clients very, very much. And then we have the other one, the one that's destroying the class. He's very new to us and well, to foster home and now school. So he is still struggling to get adjusted, but we're hopeful that with some time he'll start doing better. And he's in a self-contained class as well, so we're hopeful that that'll help him.
Okay, good to hear. Thank you for sharing, Edlin. Okay, so also then this will be our last topic discussion for this particular point. So, are your youth learning and practicing life skills? And just because I've been seeing it in the news, like, are you all speaking with your older teens about sexually transmitted diseases? Because we know that there is an increase in syphilis, I've been hearing about, herpes, gonorrhea, and HIV. So we know that eventually those youth are going to discharge from your agencies, um, hopefully to, higher learning, or they may just, end their time in foster care or whatever the situation may be. So are you all having those types of discussions with them, or um, do you leave it to them to do their own research? Um, and what types of life skills are you offering any of the youth at your, either in your foster homes, residentials, or PRTFs? Or is it that we're doing everything for them? Like, we cleaning their rooms and making their beds and sweeping and washing their clothes, because even some parents do that, some agencies may do that. It may be easier for you all, but we would just like to know, like, how are you welcoming that type of skill, or if you are, how does that happen?
Hi, Ebony. I think for the most part, our parents are, especially with the teenagers, are talking with them about, safe sex and, protecting themselves. And they're supposed to, I've not gone to any of the independent living classes or sessions, but hopefully that's also being covered by the the ILP coordinator when she meets with the kids. One of them, and speaking of ILP, some of our kids, some kind of way, are falling through the loop where they're not being receiving ILP services. The ones that are 14 and over, some have not even gotten the package. And I know that back in the day, it used to be that be about 3 months before turning 14, they're supposed to the worker is supposed to send out a packet to the foster parent so that they can complete that package so that when they turn 14, they will immediately start the services. And some of our kids have not ever received a packet, and I have requested it. And then I'll contact the ILP person. She has said that person's not on my caseload. I contact the worker. Why isn't this child on the caseload? She's already 16, and this should have been done when she was 14. So there's um there's a breakdown there when it comes to the 14-year-olds receiving IOP services. And going back to the education, because some of the kids that have been bounced around from facility to facility, foster home to foster home, sometimes it gets a little convoluted as for what grade they should be in. So we have a child now that's 16. She said that she's supposed to be in the 11th grade, but they can't find document paperwork because she's been here, there, and all over Arkansas. No one knows what grade she should really be in. So the school said, well, the only thing that we can say is that looks like the only thing we have records of is she should be in the 10th. So she's in the 10th grade when she said she should be in the 11th. I did contact, I understand that there's a special education unit that's been put together to help with situations like this. And I've reached out to them a couple of times, but I've not gotten word as to, what's her status. I've asked a couple of times, what's the status? What grade should she be in? But I've not gotten anything.
Hey, June,
Uh,
Ebony, if you don't mind me
yeah, go
responding.
ahead.
Hey, June, can you send Sonia the list of kiddos that are 14 and older they need their IL test or to attend classes, and someone on her team can follow up with the local DCFS staff. Also I don't know if you're referring to Sherry Rogers as the education unit.
No, ma'am. Sherry said that there's another unit that's supposed to help with issues like that with those kids that have been bounced around and their people are having a hard time finding their grades and all that stuff. Sherry told me about the unit. There's several people on it, but one name that stands out and I've spoken with her, Nicole. Nicole, she's out of Forest City. What's her name? Um, Gosh, I've talked to her a number of times.
I don't know. But if you're still having issues with that, again, I mean, Sonia is your contact person and can connect you to the appropriate individual. So if that means we go back to Sherry, then we can go back to Sherry. So you can send both of those issues on up to us.
Okay, thank you.
Megan, would Sonia Hardin Ricks be the person across the state, or is she just for a certain area?
So Sonia, who is actually on, Sonia Hardin Ricks is the Specialized Services Unit Program Manager for DCFS. So Sonia manages our TFC contracts, emergency shelters, PLPA, and SPLPA and DDS statewide.
Okay.
Okay,
Way
thank
better,
you.
Sonia. I can't find you. There she is.
She's up there
Okay.
somewhere.
Okay. There she is. Hey, Sonia. Um, and if anyone has any additional questions about that, you can funnel your question through your licensing specialist, and we can send it up to DCFS if you're having any issues reaching any of them. Um, okay, well, thank you for the topic discussion. I did want to leave out our adoption agencies if we have any on. I know I see Lisa, um, and I can't find anybody else. just my camera. But if you all are having any concerns, like please feel free to discuss or ask me any questions. If you're needing anything from the licensing unit, just let us know and we'll be happy to assist you. Okay. And I wanted to share some helpful information. So September is National Library Card Sign Up Month. So those of you all who are able, it may be a good idea to get those kiddos signed up for a library card. The libraries have a lot of resources and programs available that could be very helpful to any kiddos that may be in your foster homes or even agencies, residential agencies. And so we encourage like reading and exploration. So just consider that. And then also, as many of you may know, September is National Suicide Awareness Month. Um, so I'm sure you all are doing your good deeds on ensuring like the kids are safe. We do sometimes still see um, some attempts, and I know that you all are working hard to ensure that that doesn't happen. But sometimes our youth are really struggling with some issues, so we do encourage that you try to increase any treatment therapy that they may be receiving. If they can go more than once a week or I'm not sure how to handle that, but you are the professional, so we wish you luck on that. Um, and before we had the meeting, so this morning I emailed you all our September licensing unit project. And of course, this is only for whoever wants to participate. It's not mandatory at all. But I got the idea off of social media where there are different images of shoes. And so what you would do is, the youth can pick whatever shoe that most fits their personality. They'll write down 5 positive, important things about themselves. Hopefully it's not too personal because we don't want, to bring them any trauma. So 5 positive, important things about themselves, write it on that piece of paper. They can color or decorate it. And then if you all can mail it to me, what I do is display it here down in our licensing unit. Um, so we did that once before, and it was like a huge success up here. We had people coming from all over to look at those. Um, Look at the project that we last had, and it just gave them a lot of insight on, children who are not with their families. So um, our next upcoming event is the Child Welfare Agency Review Board, which will be October the 25th at 1:30 p.m. here in Little Rock. The deadline to submit any board requests will be Tuesday, October 3rd. Also, I did want to go back to our recap from our in-person meeting. I know that Jasmine said that she has some information or a list of things required to report. There was some discussion during the meeting on well, it may be different from PRTS or residentials and foster homes. So we're just making sure that we're all on the same page before we get that information out to you all. But Jasmine will get that out as soon as everybody's on the same page. So be looking for that. And we will be sending up that information of all of your suggestions when it comes to ELS. And so, unless anyone else has any questions or notifications or anything that you'd like to share, I'll give you an opportunity to do so. Okay, if not, well, that concludes our meeting right at 10:30. Good job, Ebony. So you all have a wonderful day and rest of the week. So appreciate your time. Thank you.